Good day, people of the internet and YouTube and whatever. So I'm just going to do you a little video here on repairing this Hotline. If I have the model number to it now, it is a Hotline. It's a fence Energizer, HLM700. Has got battery input and a couple of other peripherals there to input with. And you'll notice I've done a few modifications to this already, because we've had this for a good 10 years now, and I've had to repair this a few times actually. And it's always the same thing that goes wrong with it. Inside this thing, it uses a standard DC power brick, which here there is usually a there's usually this thing with spider's webs on it, which sits inside there, and that connects to a standard external power brick. This is not the right power brick for this, but it does work. The higher the amps, the better, of course, and it's supposed to use a 15-volt power brick. So what we're doing on this is focus. Literally just got to take it apart and swap this out. So quite literally, to take this thing apart, you just go reverse it over, and underneath I think there is 6 screws. There's either 6 or 8 screws, I think, on the back. In fact, I could just show you, I suppose. Yeah, there's 6 screws on the back of that, 2 in each corner and then 2 in the middle. So 4 in each corner, of course, and 2 in the middle. Future John here. Yep, just to let you know, there is actually 8 screws on this, not 6. Sorry about that. You've got hidden screws just here. There's here, 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 and then the 4 corners. Sorry about that. The little panel on the back you don't have to go into. There's nothing inside there. It's just an empty space. And then you literally take the front cover off very carefully, very carefully, because you've got a little ribbon cable that leads to this display. So you want to be careful you don't damage that. But this bottom end here is going to be very difficult to take off. And all I can suggest you do is just keep prying it up. Eventually they will come undone. Because the reason why it's so difficult to take off, there's that ribbon cable I was telling you about. Plugs into that white connector just there. These 4 spade terminals or connectors here, they clip onto these posts, high voltage posts and sensing posts. As you can see, I've taken it apart and lost one at some point in time. We don't talk about that because you only really use the 2 outer ones on this for the system that we've got anyway. Technology inside here is quite interesting. It uses a nice voltage multiplier along the bottom there to up it to about 10 kilovolts, which is quite cool. Nice big capacitor in there. 420 volts. Nice. 40 microfarads. So take this out, you've got, again, 4 screws in the corners, and you very carefully lift the circuit board out. One thing I suggest before you start touching things in here is you get a screwdriver with a nice sturdy handle and no metal on the handle whatsoever, and you just short out this capacitor. Now this capacitor has got a little draining resistor on it, so you won't get you shouldn't get a jolt from that, but just do that anyway, because you never know. Very dangerous. That would kill you, that, if that was charged and it discharged into you. Little transformer in there, little biggish transformer that ups the current to the multiplier. Quite nice. And the thing that you're looking at is basically this input here. This is your main power input. This is coming out of the power brick, which sits behind the circuit board. I'm not going to take it apart because there's nothing behind there right now, but behind this circuit board, when you lift it off, just be careful of this plug here. You do need to disconnect this plug and then disconnect this wire as well. they're all on plugs. They do just pull off, nice and easy. You lift the board out, that will come out completely, nothing attached. And behind there, under the gap underneath, there is the power brick. You take that out, swap it out for another one of the same or roughly the same. As long as you don't go over 15 volts, you'll be fine. Like I say, this was running this 12 volt 5 amp adapter for, oh, it's been running it for about 4 years before it failed. And it was a second-hand adapter after that, which was under heavy use before. So one of the things that I'm doing now on this is I have completely removed that, because it seems to be the thing that always fails. I've completely removed that out of it. I'm going to get rid of that one because that one's knackered, but I've made it so that no 240 volts is going to go into this. So no main supply is going to go into the bottom, into this. And I'm just going to make it so this runs purely on a DC input. So the external adapter is just going to be connected straight to this wire, which I'm going to strip and put a nice plug on the end. Universal, just a simple DC jack plug, so I can just keep swapping these adapters without having to constantly take this thing apart and redo it all. Yeah, that's about it really. Just make sure you put everything back together again, and yeah, it should all still work. This thing should fire up if I just touch the, because I've got it running on battery. See, when we had this, the fault with this, even when it was being ran on battery power, this display would just come on for a second and then turn off. And that was down to the power brick inside this, as the diode pack must have failed. It makes me wonder if some slight back spike from the high current goes back into this, or it picks it up through the mains maybe, and it eventually kills the power bricks. But anyway, they're cheap enough to buy. See if this thing fires up. No, it won't power up because I had the display turned off. It remembers its last state, so the last state it had was off. But yeah, I'll just pause the video here and just put this ribbon cable back in, because it does require 2 hands. It can be a pain sometimes to get back. So that's the ribbon cable back in again. I'm just going to see if I can switch this thing to night mode, because I can while it's recording too. Oh no, I can't, it won't let me. Oh, shame. I'll just have to pause the video again and switch it over, because this thing here is an optical, well, it's like an optical data transmitter, and they've put that in there to prevent the high current, the high voltage currents, from spiking through into the low voltage side. And all they're doing basically is they're using what looks like diodes here, probably Zener diodes maybe, to drop the current down enough to not blow up the these infrared diodes to these receiving diodes, and I'm guessing it's to see if whatever's connected, maybe, I'm not sure, but whatever, it's an interesting way. Rather than using voltage sense, it uses optical bridge. Quite clever. Let's see if the thing powers up. Wipe that on there. Oh yeah, straight away. There you go. Cool stuff. Let's see if that bridge can, if there's anything on that bridge. Don't want to get too close to that. I mean, not that it will kill you or anything. It's not designed to kill you, but yeah, it's unpleasant to get hit by one of those. I've never actually been hit by this one yet, so even though I've had it for 10 years, keeping our chickens safe. Let's see. Can you see anything in there now that I'm on infrared? No, can't see any infrared leaking through. I don't want to break the circuit off. Wait, there is. There is a slight... Look at that there, look. On this end LED, you can just see the end of the LED lighting up, look.
Shame I couldn't, hold this.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's it, a bit of darkness, yeah, that's it. The camera is just so good at picking that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of infrared through that, look. Only that end one, though.
What's the top like? Is there anything on that?
Fascinating. Interesting.
Must be 940 nanometers, them ones.
Yeah, probably.
To register that, dear.
Interesting stuff, though. Let's switch it back over to normal mode. There we go. Night mode is off. Alright. Interesting stuff. Let's just take that off. Stop it from being dangerous. Well, there you pretty much go. Obviously, to put it all back together again is as easy as taking it apart. Just make sure that when you put it together, you don't affect, you pull on this little ribbon cable here, and you've got to sort of look in at this gap here, looking into it, and you've got to get these spade terminals lined up with these female spade terminals just here. And then just screw it all together again. You'll be happily keeping all your chickens and various other things safe from predators, foxes and whatnot. There you go. Hope this helped, and I hope that it was a bit of information for you. I learned something new. I never expected to see that in there. Interesting. Thanks for watching. Peace out.